Let's welcome in now Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, a member of the House Oversight and Budget Committees. Congressman, always great to see you.
Good to be back with you. Thanks for having me on.
So is it a coincidence that the Biden administration sees their poll numbers tanking with people under the age of 35, and then they go ahead and extend that student debt relief after August, but they can't keep Title 42 in place, and they're also now talking seriously about just getting rid of all that student loan debt? Is it a coincidence?
No, not at all. I mean, Joe Biden and his administration is looking for a life raft anywhere they can get one, and they think this will help them. This is the worst kind of politics because it's actually destructive of our economy. And then, frankly, it pits American against American. You got people like myself who just got finished paying back his student loans. I've been blessed to do so. Is the federal government going to cut me a check for the money I just sent to the loan companies earlier this year? They're not going to do that. What about the people who have been working hard, not having a job in the field they studied in, but they're still making those payments? Versus people who didn't go to college to get a degree or something that's economically viable. It's terrible politics, but what do you expect from an administration that has gotten everything wrong?
Yeah, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but you know that feeling, and it is a great feeling to write that last check for your student loan debt. That is something that so many Americans have struggled with and overcome that to get where they are, like you. And this seems really unfair to a lot of us who did have to pay back our student loan debt. There's something else, too, that you can kind of see the administration's true stripes on. They also reversed course on energy policy and greenlit some oil and gas drilling on public lands to combat rising oil prices. Take a listen to this, too, because this also shows how the media seems to parrot the Biden administration's talking points.
Now, one major point of frustration for this White House and Democratic lawmakers is the fact that oil and gas companies already hold and lease hundreds of thousands of acres that they do not currently use, have not started to develop. So it is unclear at what point, if ever, these new leases will equate to more production.
Now, I don't know if that ABC News reporter is giving us a report or if she's trying out for Jen Psaki's job.
First of all, her reporting is absolutely shameful. She didn't even tell the American people the truth. Number one, do oil companies have oil leases that they currently have? Of course they do. But you know what's happening? When they go to get the permits, they're being tied up in court with the radical environmentalist left. And the Biden administration is not defending the leases that they executed or the federal government has executed under previous administrations. They're just letting the judges run rampant with these permit processes, and they're not defending any of them. Number two, they put out the lowest amount of public leases ever put out in any auction. This is the lowest amount by far, but then they also doubled the price on the royalties, something that's never happened in American history until Joe Biden. So this is a political bait and switch. He is not helping with oil prices. He's trying to give a fig leaf to seem like he's doing something, but he's doing absolutely nothing. It's only going to get worse.
When all he had to do was not undo the things that we knew worked, that were in place when we had a different president. But that's a different story. I also want to talk to you about what's going on in Florida with the Department of Education. They're tossing out 54 textbooks submitted for the curriculum, 28 rejected for referencing CRT. And here's an example of one of the questions here. It's an algebraic question. The assignment said, quote, Angela was sexually abused by her mother's blank at age 8, which shaped her career choices, motivating her for writing. And those answers are boyfriend, brother, and father. There's another question about trying to support her son as a single mother. She worked as a, quote, pimp, prostitute, and blank. I mean, these are, I don't have the equations on screen, but those are algebraic math problems, Congressman. Does that sound like math to you?
It sounds like indoctrination to me. And I'm very happy that the State Board of Education decided to get rid of these books and not even allow them to be up for adoption by Florida schools. For people on the political left who are wondering why Republicans are upset about the indoctrination in our schools, look no further than what they put in math books. We're supposed to be doing math, simple equations, not this political foolishness, not the indoctrination, not CRT, not social emotional learning, just simple math. So I applaud the governor. I applaud his education team, Educational Commissioner Richard Corcoran, a former colleague of mine in the Florida legislature, for doing the right thing and making sure that these books do not end up in front of our kids in Florida public schools.
Also, Governor DeSantis has locked horns with Disney over this, and apparently Disney is now taking a step back. The National Review writing that Disney has obviously thought better about taking on DeSantis directly. They've been pretty quiet there. Its current strategy is the forget we said anything move, which is nice to see that a corporation actually is held to account by someone that we elect to put into office, not the other way around.
Listen, this is a flat out joke. Let me tell you what happened to Disney. They thought they were going to be too cute by half, listening to the radical employees and the radical shareholders of the company, and they got their hand caught by America's governor, Ron DeSantis, because he wasn't going to put up with it, and he never should have. And let this be a lesson. Unlike the Democrats, I'm not going to vilify companies. But if you have corporations who are not going to read the law and then engage in our politics, then they're going to get a lesson in political theater. And they got one by Governor DeSantis. He did the right thing by standing up to Disney and not cowering to them. And Disney now has had to tuck tail and run. And they got a bigger problem on their hands because now you have parents who are taking a closer look at Disney content and saying to themselves, you know what? I used to love the mouse, but not anymore. And if Disney doesn't get their act together, they're going to rue the day they decided to engage in these radical politics brought to them by the Democrat Party and the radical left.
Right. We're not about hating on companies, but we are in favor of promoting other ones. If Congressman Byron Donalds is going to an amusement park in Florida, and it's not Disney, obviously, where are you headed, Congressman?
I mean, right now, it's either going to be Legoland or Universal Studios. And if they don't get their act together, I won't go there either. I'll just go back to the beach.
All right. Yeah, we always got the beach in Florida. That's a good point. Great to see you, Congressman Donalds. Take care.
Anytime.